Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is the final week of the SpyParty Masters Championship 2024 Champions Round Robin. I am your humble host, Wrestler, and joined to me today is Yash. Hello, hello.
I am anything but humble, but it's so gracious of you to invite the greatest caster ever onto the stream tonight. We do have
Yes,
a pretty interesting match to me. In theory, coming into this tournament, I would have imagined this one being a lot more one-sided than I'm actually predicting it to be now, but we do have Martini and Graash stepping up to the plate today.
yes, and as you see in the Champions Round Robin, the groups of four. Unfortunately for both of these competitors, they have lost 2 games each and thus are unable to qualify even with a win today. So this match is for the ultimate goal, shall we say, in its pride. Let's start with Graash here. Had a pretty good season, latter season, I would say. 3rd place in Twin Line Zone, 4th in Summer Cup. And close match versus OP, but I guess both of these competitors just could not compete against Rav. And quite a devastating storyline of 5-11. Oh no, what was your, I guess watching your games, what was your pre-tournament thought of Graash and current now, Yash? I guess that's my question.
I mean, my prediction was not necessarily hinging on Grash's allocates necessarily. I know that Graash is a very solid player who has been having a history of playing SpyParty and, well, actually playing SpyParty pretty decently. Unfortunately here, a -1 against OP, that is just a... My heart is always broken when I see those losses by 1 point, by 2 points mattering in the grand scheme of things and just denied you the chance to move through. But yeah, I definitely did not expect him to top this group necessarily, but I thought he had a good shot to make it into the playoffs. Unfortunately, won't be getting there. Now, the reason why I thought this match would be a lot more one-sided is while Graash is great, his opponent, Martini, who is coming in as the first seed of the tournament, is actually a very scary player on his pick. The important message to note here is on his pick. Unfortunately, Martini has not been providing too great of a showing. This SMC, that 3-13 loss against Roth is just so sad. That's almost as bad as my challenger performance here. And unfortunately, OP Wrights once again snubbing the competition with a 9-7 victory for himself. So Martini also out of the cards, which does mean that our first seed will not be making it into playoffs, but still a very dangerous beastie and definitely looking for a win here.
I guess the main takeaway, I'm just gonna talk quickly about Martini, is I think on his best day, his pathing sniper style has been very suffocating in terms of he would narrow down the party so much that he would be able to find a spy that way easier, but especially against Rav and sometimes even OP Rights, his pathing, he actually low-lit the spy numerous times, so either the players adapted to his style and actually learned some paths and what Martini would low-light people for, or maybe he's out of his prep. And I would hazard a guess it's a bit of both. But with that said, it's time for the draft. And we do have the picks here as we are Graash banning Modern into... And Martini, oh wait, is this the right draft? I don't think this is it. This apparently, no, this is not it on the screen. But Graash does ban Modern, but Martini bans Balcony. Oh no.
That is so rude of him. Why would anyone ever do such a thing?
And Martini restricting Library into... And then Graash restricting Pub. So I guess looking at those, both of the pathing venues makes sense in terms of that. And in the meantime, the first venue that Martini first picks Terrace into, and then Graash picks Ballroom and Teien. And so Teien hasn't been picked a lot. I'm gonna be interested to see what's happening there. Into then Martini picks pub, but he cannot double it since Graash restricted. And the fifth venue is going to be Redwoods from Martini, and the last venue from Graash is going to be, pardon me, Courtyard. There you go. With the multiplications being Graash multiplying Ballroom and Martini multiplying Redwoods. Any thoughts on that draft?
I've just been mesmerized watching you click through all of the venues on the screen here.
Yeah, for some reason,
Unfortunately,
when I did this initially, apparently, like the tool decided, nah, that draft is not legal, does not exist. Picked something else.
I mean, that other draft also sounds like an interesting version of this match, which we will definitely be shown at some later point in the future. I'm sure of that. But for the now being, not too shabby. I'm not necessarily too against the venues picked. I like Teien finally showing up, one of the rarer venues in the rotation. And also the multipliers are different, so the players finally realizing that does not help their point. Multiplying the same venue over and over.
No, yeah, your pet peeve, right? When both players they multiply the same venue. And as you mentioned, both Teien and Courtyard are one of the least picked venues in this tournament, with 3 picks and 4 picks respectively. So, apart from Balcony and Ballroom, Balcony and Aquarium, the least popular venues. So I'm interested to see.
Yeah, Graash definitely showing off in the tail end of the competition here.
He couldn't be too out there. He still picks and multiplies Ballroom because reasons. But
He's a professional SpyParty player, yep.
Oh. So we have the predictions now, Yash. But and your name is up first because I refused to predict first. And who do you think is gonna win?
Well, first of all, I think that my name is not Gabriel. Thank you very much.
I did correct that.
Yeah, I've noticed. Do that before the stream. Come on, we're supposed to be professional. Either way, I still do love Martini, and Martini on his high horse is a really tough opponent to beat. Unfortunately, this season or rather this tournament, his performance has been a little bit shabby. But Graash, actually, I mean, I think that I'm just gonna go root for the co-caster in this one. I think it's going to be Graash, and I think it's going to be a reasonably comfortable 10-6.
Oh, so 2 venue advantage, you'd say. I would say on the peak, on both players' peak form, for example, I would pick Martini 9 times out of 10. Just because at his peak sniper especially, it would suffocate Graash's spy. But based on the recent form and how his sniper style hasn't really been working out, and his spy is still, I'm not saying it's bad, it's definitely good, but at this top level, I mean, against the top competition, it isn't something amazing as of now. I would have to also pick Graash. I'm gonna be even bolder. I'm gonna say it's 12-4.
Ooh, 12-4 is wild. Okay. Let's see how much we are correct and how much Martini will prove us wrong.
I mean, yeah, that's the... yeah, we do have the game. There is something called Caster's Curse, but there's also a thing of Caster's Spite, where both casters predict something entirely wrong and the players just spite them. But in any case, that's neither here nor there. Graash as the spy, playing as Pearls on Terrace in 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
I prefer calling it the Caster's Bless for myself. Of course, Pearl's one of the slower characters at the party. fortunately for us, I don't think that Terrace is necessarily the most annoying venue to pick slower characters on. And as a matter of fact, there is a non-zero amount of time where you can just afford to move less or to just spend more time in the conversation. So Graash not necessarily too inhibited by the spy pick here.
Yeah, but 51% of it first, 50 rather percent for here. I know this is your favorite, one of your favorite venues, Yash. Any particular things you want to see or hope to see, or just you want to see some chaos?
I'm a simple man, and I love my mind games, and Terrace is probably the venue where it's easiest to pull off because of that double agent being known by both sides. So I would adore a fake banana bread being uttered at some point throughout this game. Of course, Martini already moving through, picking out his lowlights, and not just lowlighting everyone. We did see here a redirect from Mom. Unfortunately, here not enough to get her off the hook, but I'm sure she will be watched at the very least.
We do get real content, but again, Martini thus far correct with lowlights. 5 of them thus far.
And not too much progress on the side of Graash, of course. There is not necessarily too fast of a venue. You can give yourself more time and just try to fish for that third for the clean little ending and just get it past the sniper. For the now being, we are gonna get the seduction done, so just the print remaining or any other third mission of our choosing. I would actually not be too against going to the statue, but it also feels a little bit weird here.
Minute left. We have one fingerprint in pocket, so fingerprint could be. Oh, we're gonna reject, and I think now we're gonna head on to this statue and finish this print. Double agent comes right before us.
Almost went there the first time to go for the briefcase. Here we are being marked as suspicious, but we are not marked as shot. We do have a highlight, but highlight is not quite enough. Graash is going to go for a swap, will actually hit it. And game number 1 is a victory for Graash, starting off strong.
Yeah, one second, one second, I need to reload SpyParty. But yeah, we do have a first win for Graash, and a very nice spy win with that. I guess just missing Prince entirely. Maybe too focused on the paths early on and just forgot that we could have Prince done. But that's something that you have to be aware of all the times, and Martini maybe at the start of the game was just unaware that that could happen.
I liked us going for the briefcase, sir, which almost stands us at the statue, but not necessarily in here. So Martini may potentially be confused and thinking that we were here before we already got this fingerprint. And yeah, in the end, it's just a highlight, but a highlight is not a shot, and Graash already sneaks through with a win. And it's enough to set an early lead. Just have to get a spy shot on our second game.
Easier. I mean, it's not a completely free assumption, but it's a very nice start to actually start with the spy win. Martini this time playing as Steel on the spy side of Terrace in 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
You have mentioned in one of our private talks recently that Terrace is probably one of the most sniper-sided venues. And immediately after that, on a cast, we did see a spy win, and here the spy win's trend continues. Martini is gonna immediately go to the statues, immediately at a highlight for it. And I'm actually interested to see how this one will be played out, because Graash knows that we are highlight. Martini also knows that we are highlight, because naturally you're starting off at the statues, you will be highlight. And I'm interested to see how he will try to dance around this restriction.
Yeah, and it's
Kenny
an
in the
interesting
red.
play. Oh, here's a contact while being interrupted here. A couple of lights, but that's about it. What? It's a fake for us, but the real in other conversation. Yeah, an interesting play that no spy has. I've seen at least. Oh, the dual agent comes to us,
Kenny
and
in the
now
red.
everyone has real in the party. This is.
I love this. Oh, let's go. Oh, let's go. And we have a 51% flirt, which means that we only need one more. Unfortunately, I think if we go to the other set of statues, we are just dead here. But if we can go for something else, that would be a glorious way to return the serve, so to speak, to just keep it even.
I guess
for
if
the
you
time being.
complete this flirt in 2 and then you go statues, would you assume? I guess my argument is that spies tend to complete statues almost never. So maybe if you do it fast enough, you think, okay, maybe that's just that's just an AI completing inspects here.
Well, I guess here's a chance to test that theory, because Martini is going to the statues. The seduce is already done, the contact is already done, and now the inspects are here as well. We're going for a second cycle, and we are gonna get shot for it. Now, what I do not like here is that second cycle on the second statue, because usually you do expect it to be 2 cycles, I think, as a sniper, so... Graash being very quick on the instincts and just getting shot off, which does set him off into the lead as we move into his own double. Also known as the most boring venue in the history of SpyParty, but don't let OP hear that I said that.
I mean, it is Ballroom it's the most popular venue thus far in this tournament, and Graash is playing on the spy side as wheels in 3, 2, 1, playing it. I would say definitely say OP, right? So I think everyone in this tournament has almost picked Ballroom, at least in the champions round robin.
Yeah, it seems to be a venue that people have converged on as the venue that you're picking. You know, the final destination, so to speak.
I mean, technically it is the second most popular venue as the 50%. The #1 contested venue, at least in picks wise, is Gallery, with 12 picks thus far in the matches have been costed.
Wait, actually?
Yes.
Wow, that's sick.
Yeah, Ballroom is second with 11. It's been doubled it's been multiplied the most by the stats that I
To be
have.
fair, you wouldn't really know the difference from how Martini is positioning his sniper on this particular game. Of course, Martini going for this angle, which has been an innovation by him. But here so far, doesn't really pay off necessarily, because for Martini's playstyle, a lot of characters need to be moving, and the one thing Graash doesn't seem to be doing so far is switching that position of his.
I mean, we did get 100% flirt of not giving moving. With that said, Yash, back to the statistics of Ballroom. Whilst Gallery has been the most picked with 12 picks in the draft, Ballroom has by far the most multiplied venue. Gallery has been only multiplied twice. Ballroom 10 times.
I swear, I don't necessarily understand it. And I mean, we've gone through this rant, and people have actually gone for different venues this time, so I'm actually gonna hold on that one. But yeah, it's weird to me that people would... Oh, what an interesting movement here. That is fascinating. Either way, I'm interested in why people are picking a venue that everyone knows how to play and picking to play it more times. But I think the main reason to pick it for Graash himself is just consistency, right? Martini hasn't necessarily been around recently, hasn't necessarily been the most consistent in his games as well, which does mean that Graash can just afford to pick the most cookie cutter of the venues and try to
Your round was
hope that Martini makes a mistake.
Yeah, your round was interrupted by a Sif shot onto Rocker. So I want to check actually what did Rocker do in this, especially at the end of the game here. So she has a fingerprint. So I guess that she have a print elsewhere? What else she does?
Rocked around the clock a
Yeah,
little bit too often.
Yeah, she does have 2 prints. But apart from that, nothing of much else. Yeah, nothing of much else apart from those 2 prints.
2 prints is a mission. A banana bread probably was happening at some point throughout this venue, and yes, indeed, there's a check mark. And maybe a bug somewhere. It's pretty annoying to actually try and catch the bug with this particular sniper angle. That is a little bit of a trade-off that you have to make here. So Martini, unfortunately, will make an error here, and Graash is on the clasp of catapulting himself into an even sturdier lead.
I mean, indeed, and Martini right now playing as Duke in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Here we go, Duke. Of course, Mr. Yu, the last character on the character list. Here is gonna be.
I thought you didn't know any of the letters.
I know an amount of the letters. I'm a little bit salty that there aren't enough characters in the game to cover the whole alphabet, but you know what, 21 is fine, I suppose.
So you would, I would say you want to have more characters so you can spell out different things. You gotta redirect off this briefcase.
Spelling out the word hovercraft has been on my list of priorities for years now, and I am so absolutely disheartened that the character stopped just before that letter.
Why specifically hovercraft, though?
Because I do enjoy spinning in one. Either way, Martini here gonna spend a little bit more time talking. It buys us a 51% flirt, but besides that, not too much progress. A far cry from game number 1.
Never green for 80% though.
And I think I like it. We have mentioned in different casts that people do tend to fall into the same general skeleton of how the game will progress.
Banana bread.
Here, Martini is trying to play around the scheme. He's trying to switch it up between the different spy games, which is something that is so very important to do to keep the sniper on their toes, to keep the sniper attentive. And the longer the sniper is attentive, the more it takes out of the player. So Graash eventually will run out of resources, and that will breed errors, which Martini desperately needs at this point.
Yeah, going down 4-0 very early on does not bode well for Martini. Chances of win. Of course, with the chances of qualification to the Champions semi-final been already eliminated before this match, we're talking about pride, but of course pride being the most important thing in SpyParty. Are we gonna... No, just simply reject. Are we gonna go for this purloin chain?
Well, instead we will just join it, but in a different sort of matter. Unfortunately, it will not matter because the list is not going to be gone. But in the end, we are just gonna go to the bookshelves on the left here, maybe even trying to fish for a microfilm here, but Graash rotating around to try and catch the potential animation.
A final flirt. If we do finish, pardon me. But 25 seconds left.
Seconds to go.
And we need to dump this book.
To be a very, very late game of SpyParty. We are definitely entering the beeps. There's a highlight, but there's no shot. Graash, if he remembers, he knows that this book came from a different bookshelf, but there's no reason to shoot yet. Because the book goes into the bookshelf at 9 seconds to go, Martini will need to do something else before the game ends. There will be at least some amount of overtime beeps, and Graash recognizes this and shoots Martini for the next suspicious thing he does, which is going immediately to time ad.
Yeah, I think we just not left ourselves not enough time, and with 45 seconds left, going for the bookcase was maybe a bit of a peculiar choice, since that leaves our hands occupied, which means no purloin, no statues. We are committing ourselves towards transfer, and even then, if we complete it, we still need one more mission with 9 seconds to go. Just, I think, again,
Maybe Martini thought it was a 3 out of 8 the whole time. It would explain the shot.
I'm not sure that that's what they intended, but we shall skip
Granted,
past that.
The last time 3 out of 8 Ballroom was played has been never in the competitive environment. So for the now being, it's up to Graash to continue putting himself even further into the lead to satisfy wrestlers' predictions, which are so unkind.
Let's see if Graash will continue to be unkind to Martini and the scoreline within. It's Queen in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Well, I don't know how Graash thinks about Martini, but he's definitely unkind to me. What the hell is this seduction target choice? This is atrocious.
I agree. How dare they?
For the benefit of anyone watching and spectating, especially if you're newer to the game, this does not have actual relevance to the video games. The seduction target choice is not something that will likely come up as something necessarily important. There are a few strategic considerations you can go for when picking the seduction target, such as a seduction target will never be a suspected double agent, which does mean that they are always very easy and simple to frame, especially considering that you can move them around if you want to with red test in a flirt. Which is why at some point there has been a trend of picking Smallman as a seduction target because he's naturally the most suspicious partygoer and as such the most frameable one. But as frames kind of fell out of favor with newer sniper styles emerging here, the seduction target choice fell back into obscurity as a strategy.
I would say maybe the seduction target choice is only to basically not picking the slowest character, especially on the larger venues. So for example, Pearls here at the White Dress. On a larger venue, maybe not on Ballroom, but for example, Modern, sometimes she will be just walking around for a long time since she's so slow and we cannot get flirt whilst she is walking. But apart from that, yeah, I agree, seduction target choice is largely mute.
Naturally, there are some other considerations that are not important in the competitive scale of things, but on the aesthetical level, I
Oh, there's the bug!
support a different parent. Ooh, interesting. I think the hand was firmly on screen, but I'm not sure how much of that Martini actually peered at.
Yep, there is some
seem-
animations visible, but again, with that awkward angle, let's just say, I would say the long angle that Martini is the only one really taking, that bug is pretty damn good, honestly. It's not perfect, you can definitely see some of the animation, but it's not super big either.
I think I would disagree. That bug on the competitive scale of things, I've seen people shoot for less of a bug showing. However, the only important thing about the bug is that you get it past the sniper, and Martini, judging by the reaction, is not necessarily paying too much attention to that. At the very least, he's not showing us or Graash that he's paying too much attention to that. Now, of course, there are only, 5 people at this party who can be the spy in the eyes of Martini, and we are being marked as suspicious. But being suspicious is not necessarily being that a swap comes off, and while Pearls is here to swap it around, the flirt is finished. 4 seconds to go. We are going into overtime, and here comes a second shot on a civilian on Ballroom by Martini. This is rough.
What did Rocker even do? She wasn't even talking during the final stretch of the game.
It was a spy, damn it. You don't need much more. Also, I think Martini has caught the swap, but hasn't necessarily figured out who maybe is the one swapping.
But maybe was the rocker nearby at the statues at some points when she was highlights? No, she was highlight when at the start of the game. She was at that same statue 3 minutes with 3 minutes left with 30 seconds start of the game. So I guess we assume we just missed it later on. I guess.
Because the shot definitely was for the swap. The shot comes off before overtime, before we hear any beeps, and the shot comes right after the swap animation actually happens. So Martini was looking at it and was shooting for that. Unfortunately for us, maybe he thought that Rocker is trying to delay the animation somehow, but that doesn't quite work out. Or maybe he just misremembered what statue Queen was at, which is also
I think that's
I
think that's the main thing, as I think we misremembered what statue Queen was on, and we just thought, oh my god, I missed the swap 3 minutes in the game, and I just noticed it, and I remember Rocker being there. But that unfortunate miss shot, Graash continues to, I guess, prove my predictions right, and his double is looking ever so nice. The final match on his double, it is Martini on the spy side in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And I mean, going down 1 is bad enough in a competitive.
Oh no! We spilled the drink!
It doesn't matter. The bug comes off. Graash doesn't seem to care.
Oh wait, there's a bug even? What? Was this... what?
OP? Martini coming through with attack here. The strategical crash to make sure that Graash is distracted and allows us to get away with a bug, which does mean that I think the 4th will be missed by him.
Banana bread.
If the game continues on, I think we can just go on to get this banana bread, get this flirt done, which we already have a 50% on, and just go inspect. And the Graash will be none the wiser because he doesn't.
Never mind, we purloin. We just want to rush this game out.
Come on.
If you first don't succeed, go again. The purloin does come out now. Now we see the list is gone. Highlight is on to us, but if we don't shoot for this next flirt, I think that Martini's in the clear.
I mean, the only thing Martini needs to do is stalk. Once, if you're not in the action test, twice. I think having 2 minutes on the clock is long enough for you to be able to fit that in without I cursed, sorry. Gonna be 2 talks for the now being, however, Graash, none the wiser. I think if you're humble and you're knowing that your opponent hits action tests, you have to shoot now, because that was 2 talks, that was flirt done, and we already have a bug. But here, essentially, Graash is going to be expecting Martini to do the 4th mission. He is zooming in, he is trying to catch that bug on the ambassador passing by, not knowing that the ambassador already has a bug on his person.
Yeah, the ambassador already has the bug in pockets. It wasn't ours, but now it's in his. I'm not sure where the spy really sticks that bug. In any case, we only need 1 more flirt. The cooldown is up. Here it is. We are seen talking. We are the only highlight, but Graash, I think again, we're waiting for the 4th mission, not realizing the 4th mission has already been completed.
2, 1, 0, and here we go. Martini answering back in style.
Yeah, the crash into a bug. Enough that chaos interim. With that chaos interim, we just do a standing bug whilst Graash is low-dying people. I'm not sure that was the intended play, but you're not gonna complain when things work out in your favor.
It absolutely was a play pursued, and that's the only thing that matters. It was pursued, it was chosen, and Graash has unfortunately not been able to keep track. And to be fair, I don't blame him. a crash happens once every, like, however many games. Like, every 100 games, I suppose. Every 200 games in competitive, you have a crash. And usually when there's a crash, you know immediately who to shoot. Unfortunately, here for Graash, Martini here being able to just have enough people around so that Graash is not able to figure it out immediately, also bails immediately afterwards, which is very good on his point. And while Graash is able to pick up a highlight still on that spy, unfortunately it doesn't quite work out in the end, and Martini gets off with a much, much needed win, keeping himself still way further behind than his opponent, but still in the race.
And let's see if Martini can continue his winning ways. This time on the sniper side on Teien. Graash as playing as red dress. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. Teien is one of the least seen venues in this SMC, so I wonder how Graash is going to play this.
I mean, the other thing that Teien is, it's a venue that's slightly more random than usual. Usually the randomness applies just to the position of the characters and the ways they're going every which way, which sometimes does make or break a venue. I've played way too many games of High Rise that did not end in a spy win just because the double agent decided that statues are much more interesting. But on the end, there's also those shojis, those paper barricades or some such that are put either to the left or to the right. In this particular case, the arrangement is auspicious and is useful for us because it allows Martini to get this good angle where you can see everyone and not worry too much about the silhouettes covering something important.
Yeah, the two shoji covering the books is probably the best one for the sniper, since you're very rarely going to see transfer being done, especially direct one. And even then, it's quite easy to hover the laser over the person to see if they're doing any transfer animations. But with that said, 85% on the flirts. Big banana comes out. It is a white test. You can get away with a slower pace on Teien since it's so mission dense. You can finish in the, I want to say, snap in a finger almost.
And I adore this fake. Unfortunately, it is a real for us because there is a suspected double agent, and that suspected double agent is an organization, not the other.
Another fake.
Only 2 people out of the conversations, and now it's even better because if this other person, and we know this other person is a double agent, so now we know that there is a real banana bread on the other conversation as well, which only makes them more suspicious because we have had this suspected double agent in our conversations the whole time, so there's no reason for us to banana bread a second time.
In the meantime, we did do a green purloin, and we're leaving to the next conversation. Imagine we're gonna try, we need to go for a banana bread any time now, but only 3 people left in the party that are not low lit. Here's the list gone. What's the reaction? We're hovering over
really
teal.
care about such things as Purloin when there are only 3 people at the party. You just try and catch the bug, and you do catch the bug because there are only 3 people at the party who are highlight, and everyone else is low lit. The banana bread comes through. This time around, it's actually a real. Smallman is the only one talking, but Teal is in the other conversation. I think that Rachel was in the front one, and now she's at the back one, so we are essentially on the same level of suspicion considering those fakes all around. What's the 4th, Graash? What is the 4th mission?
Hug the ambassador, I guess. We're gonna wait for the ambassador to go. Now, yes, we're gonna go for a crash bug. Here it is. But Martini is all over that. Takes the shots and is ever closer to catching back up.
Nice little flick. Secures the game. Graash trying to go for a little bit more of a cerebral approach here with the fake banana breads. Unfortunately for him, Martini just kind of waits it out. Does the things that Martini Sniper does, and, well, ends up successful in the end, just taking it calm, collected, no miss shots, and staying certain. until the very end.
And the final venue before halftime, it is Martini on Orange Sari, this time on the all bookcase shoji setup. So we'll see how that pans out. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I think the all bookcase shoji setup is better than the all statue one, but also it is a little bit annoying.
Oh, there's
because
the
on one
bug!
hand, that is one of the things that the silhouettes very much do not help with. While you can potentially see the hand and you can potentially see the lean a little bit more clearly when it's just the silhouettes, it's so much harder to figure out. And Sari already has kind of a nasty bug as well, so Martini here getting away with a bug second game in a row.
And especially on this setup, it's relatively easy to watch the bug. Teien, on some of the harder shoji setups, it's quite difficult to see bugs reliably, and sometimes you just have to credit one. But the only real buggable spots on this setup is all the way at the back conversation when the ambassador's moving from the bookcase into that back conversation. Apart from that, bug is relatively simple to see. And if we don't credit this bug, if we're Graash, we could be, again, mission count off by 1, as we're going to chase our seduction target. No, pardon me, we're going to double agent.
And off by 1 is one of the nastiest issues you can encounter as a sniper. But back in the day, Teien was known as a venue where bug comes pre-checked, so I think chances are Graash is much less likely to miss that mission being done here compared to Ballroom, just because there is more humility in potentially not being able to catch a bug for himself. The banana bread comes through, we do see Smallman take a drink and return to Narnia, maybe even Buggin's ambassador in the process. He is a highlight, so maybe there is some amount of suspicion placed on us already. And if anything, Mr. S maybe shots on.
I mean, but we're small men on Teien. So I think that's if when you're selecting small man in the not even as a spy, just selecting it as one of the guests, you're kind of saying, okay, the small man, you get a highlight no matter what. As we do finish inspect, sorry, not inspect, flirt at the windows.
Inspect the seduction target. Oh yes. I don't think that mission will be clean enough to put into the game, my friend.
Yeah, you pick up small man and you just inspect him. That's the mission.
Like just swap him out.
Yes, we're heading to center statues here. And
if you hit a green test and someone else comes.
Never mind, take a shot. Oh, Graash. Yeah, Graash takes the shot. And I find this interesting because at the end of the game here, General is also seen being at the center statues. So I thought that since we weren't shot instantly, I had to imagine that we were clean, but unfortunately for Martini, it's just a nice shot from Graash. And moving into halftime, it is 6-2 for Graash. So we're still gonna have Pub, double Redwoods, and Courtyard. So some of the lesser seen venues again.
Yeah, the action is heating up, and there are a lot more venues that Martini would prefer compared to Graash left in the rotation. So I think in the back half of the set, he may be a slight favorite to win those extra points. The real question is he gonna win enough? Is getting 2 over his opponent reachable? Because in competitive SpyParty, going -1 is already scary, but now you're going down -2 on game pairs. So now you will have to try and really make certain. That said, Pub is a very...
You're cutting away, Yash. Are you there? I think we're losing Yash connection. I can't hear him.
Oh, no.
Oh, never mind. You're back. Okay. some
We
reason.
are so back, chat. We are so back. At what point did I cut out?
Like 3 sentences ago.
So yeah, I think that Martini is gonna be able to pick up at least one of those game pairs back. I'm not sure if he will be able to catch up to an equal point, but I'm definitely hopeful for him. And Pub is a pretty interesting place to start the comeback on, don't you think?
Yeah, and let's not wait any further than that. It is Graash playing as Duke on Pub. 245, 3 of 7. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. One of the shorter venue times we have. The originally known as the SpyParty version.
I think it's the fastest version.
Oh,
of
forget
Pub.
Lolit for the AI control.
And here we go. Dispose of the pathing sniper with the original anti-pathing method. Don't take control at all, because you know who knows how to path correctly? Even more than all of those pesky pathing snipers? The AI. Because the AI was literally programmed to path correctly. The AI would never make a pathing error. And Graash employs it to his full advantage, gets a free lowlight. Now the real question is, do we know that we're being lowlit? And how much are we gonna be able to get out of it? Because knowing Martini, I don't think we will be looked at for the rest of this game. So we are pretty free to just complete missions at our own pace. The real question is, will we actually hit the pace? Because Pub, as you've mentioned, is one of the fastest setups in SpyParty. I think it's the fastest that's not on balcony. And yeah, there is quite a lot of distance that you need to cover, especially if the seduction target becomes uncooperative.
Indeed, we only have 28% flirt, so we're gonna have to flirt 2 more times. We're gonna be for a while here at bar before we were able to get our second flirt in. So I would just go direct purloin. Interesting. Now we still need to complete flirts. And okay, now this is their space. We do need to hit a green test, and we need to flirt immediately. We can't wait.
One of the first things you get taught in the SpyParty tutorial is that the flirtation cooldown is 45 seconds, which does mean that currently at 35 seconds to go, if we just flirt and wait for a second flirt, we will not be able to hit our target, which we are currently at 62. The way to reduce this cooldown is by walking away from your seduction target, which will result in a very interesting set of movements from Duke. However, the other way we can change this scenario is by adding some time to the clock. Thankfully, our seduction target decides to help us and will move away from us as well, allowing us to get this flirtation cooldown and allowing us to get this flirt. Half a second of overtime. Martini doesn't even know what happened.
Yeah, and I think this is the first time that AI control has actually yielded a lowlight. So previously I've been critical of this since it has never worked beforehand. But this time we do an immediate bump, AI bump, and Martini credits that as a lowlight. But unfortunately, for Martini, that was just an AI control from Graash, and it's like Graash hasn't done this really beforehand, so it's actually a nice time to pull it out on, especially on the shorter venue of the time venue of Pub, and already nearing match point. It's 7-2. Martini on red dress in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Remind me to give you a lecture once we get to the slower venues in this set.
You can give a lecture now.
Yes, but it's Pub. The shot will be ringing halfway through it, and I do not prefer that. We are gonna delegate, and we are gonna try to go for a bug, but that's completely on screen. See what I mean? See what I mean? Those games just don't last long enough for my lectures.
Very interesting death pose from misses hair here. But yeah, just bug completely seen and bit unfortunate. Let's take a look at that. That's super seen from the sniper sides. We're at bar, ambassador's pathing besides us. We're just waving our arm out there. But that, we're already to match point. It's 8-2. And we have 6 venues to go.
Wait, are we actually gonna go further than 12-4? Oh no.
Have we?
Either way,
Yep, either way.
it's time for me to move into the spy view because we are gonna move into Redwoods. 4 games of being surrounded by trees, which notoriously means that you can't see anything. It should probably be helpful for some of those spies trying to make wins happen.
Yeah, and for Graash, we've already secured the match point. Playing as general in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Is this venue long enough for a lecture?
Martini may not be the first person to employ pathing in his sniping allocates, but he is definitely the one who brought it to light, who made it really his shtick. He may be the first modern pathing sniper. And taking AI control and just leaving AI control on for a prolonged length of time has been a pretty reasonable and pretty quick gut reaction to the playstyle. Because if you're moving, you're making mistakes, you're getting shot for it. Instead, why not just let the AI do that, eat a lowlight, because Martini, while pathing was arcane knowledge, it was a things that Martini can't just lowlight people for without really thinking about it and being correct. And here, I think as Martini tried to evolve to a little bit more aggressive set of lowlighting and a little bit more aggressive stance on it, as we're playing on pub, one of the fastest venues, Graash just exploits it. Holds the AI control. I don't think there's much harm in holding AI control on chaos in pub, especially if there's no ambassador nearby to try and bug, so works out and works out perfectly for him. In the meantime, Graash here, in the true nature of SpyParty enjoyers, picks Queen as a seduction target for the game as general, also does not finish the flirt, and also gets someone else shot because unfortunately, Martini makes a mistake yet again.
Yes, in the meantime, also was rant.
Sorry,
was...
you were supposed to cast somewhere around.
Yeah,
here,
so
right?
while this rant
Or
was
am I just
happening, we picked up a delegate Purloin. We went out, delegated to Alice here. When she took, I presume that was missed, and then we just think that Twin was taken. And
beautiful little game of Redwoods.
Oh.
As soon as
wrestler
unmutes.
Yeah, I was talking on stream, but not on Discord. But in basically the meantime, we've done a delegate Purloin. But unfortunately for Martini, I think we noticed it a bit late, and we just thought that Twin was the one taking, and maybe think that he wasn't sent by anyone, and thus took a shot on him. But unfortunately, that's just incorrect again from Martini. And we already concluded this match in terms of who's going to win, 9-2. But now we're finding to see how big of the lead Graash is going to be in the final scoreline. And it's Martini on the spy side as Pearls in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Well, Pearls, yet again, one of the slower characters, and Redwoods is a venue that has been balanced by not having too much time on it. Although, looking at it, now that I think about it, for the first time in years after repeating, yeah, Redwoods doesn't have enough time because Redwoods doesn't have enough time.
Oh, we tried to go for a bug twice, and we failed, and we get a highlight for it.
Yeah, absolutely expected. And we are gonna try and time it, It's a 2-pair spy game. We bug twice, we time it twice. Unfortunately for us, Graash is not waiting to make it a full house and just shoots us.
I don't think
Probably
you
would be.
need to get shot twice, though, to lose the game. I don't think that's how it works.
Yeah, I think that Graash really made a mistake here. Or I guess he can try to go for a second shot, which would be also very rude. Eyes away. The scoreline now being a nice casual 9-2. It's
10 to
looking
2.
more and more like
It's
10
10.
to 2 even.
Yes.
Well, yeah, Martini is gonna sweep the rest of the set because I said so.
Well, you heard here first, and Yash would never be wrong. It is Graash on wheels in 3, 2, 1, playing it. But how we're supposed to cast? How we're supposed to cast when you already spoiled the result?
Well, because I make mistakes as well, and as a caster, have I ever told you things that's actually correct?
All
No,
the
I'm just
time.
telling you things that I believe that are correct because I am trying to go for the entertainment.
Oh, that's just the
here.
white swap on screen. Is there any reaction from Martini? Doesn't seem so. No, I think we're lining up the shot. Yep, we're lining up the shot.
Chat, we are so back. We are so back, chat. Now Martini just needs to sweep 3 more games to get it back to my prediction of 10-6.
Yes, as I said, how are we supposed to cast when you already spoiled the results? It's not fair.
Well, you don't know which games he will be losing, as in none of them, but as a way, you don't know how Graash will be losing every single one of those games. If anything, I can predict that Martini will go for a bug in this game as well, and who knows, maybe I will be incorrect.
I mean, let's see if you are correct or incorrect. Martini as queen in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Bug. No, 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 no. And we're actually gonna do a little twitch to end up at the position where we can inspect while being at books, which, if Graash is attentive, might even mean that we have inspects done right now by inspecting twice on the right and inspecting once on the left here.
But I think that was a cheese insight, so maybe if we didn't see that, probably we're not credited by
The
it.
briefcase. Oh boy, Martini. Just sending it every which way.
Yeah, a lot of soft tell progress early on. And Ambassador's even back at the bookshelves to... Oh no, we're going to the statue again where he was initially. Oh no, that was just an inspect here.
Now Graash will be thinking that we were just on the right, if Martini's cheese is to be believed. So Graash should not necessarily think that we have inspects done while we do have them done, which is the point of this whole ordeal. However, for the now being, we will just get 51% flirt on the incorrect seduction target, and we will continue looking around while the seduction target is helping us bring the flirtation cooldown down.
I like how you're saying incorrect seduction target, as if they're objective.
It is objectively incorrect. I'm telling you that as a person who knows how the games end.
True. Actually, you're right. Oh, we're getting safety flashed on.
Yep.
That's
not a good sign.
Yeah, that's not a good sign. Maybe your prediction is actually going to be incorrect, as we're going into bar. We're gonna pick up a delegate in the meantime.
No least taken or even taken yet from the bar. We are gonna try to end up in the conversation, but end up at the window instead. Smallman comes in to flirt with us. Unfortunately, I think we are numb to his advances, and he will leave in sorrow.
It looks like we're gonna go for another time ad here at this window, with 50 seconds left.
Back to back.
Here it is.
Smallman leaves as we add some time to the clock. This one is going to be green, so Graash not necessarily too wise about it. The only way to figure out a green timed is by noticing that the time is moving slightly slower, but there are different ways to shoot spies for. We try to go for a second fingerprint, and we are gonna end up shot for it. Unfortunately for me, that prediction is going to be busted.
I think what's really happened here is we've noticed this split delegate into a split. We delegate into picking up this briefcase, and we were being safety flashed on even beforehand. So we were waiting for any sort of progress from Queen, and that is more for enough from Graash. 11-3, and it looks like only my score prediction can be correct this time. It just requires a split on Courtyard, also one of the least played venues in this SMC, and it's Graash playing as Rocker, the final spy game of Graash. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Well, you say it can be correct, but what you don't know is that it won't.
Just to spite me, you're saying that?
No, it's just a hunch.
Ah, fair enough.
Eyes away, Graash will patiently wait for someone else to leave the conversation before entering right in there. I believe OP was
Oh, why
shot
the
for
Berlin?
that behavior earlier. Oh boy, we're starting the Courtyard game early, boys. Usually that happens in 10 seconds to go. We have a banana bread as well. The highlight comes off. The lowlights? I mean, the lowlight on the double agent counts, right?
I guess? But not looking good.
Eyes away, that is a mission done. In a major way, the banana bread is not actually real for us, so we will still need to pick that one up at some point in the future, which now sounds like a good point considering that there is a double agent in our conversation circle.
Banana bread.
Indeed, it's going to be a white test. The ambassador leaves. Wheels can be a valid lowlight, but the reaction from the sniper so far is not here. I'm pretty sure that Graash is gonna be spectated and shot as soon as Martin thinks we have 4, which means that we're playing a very different game of SpyParty compared to the usual, but Graash may still try to sneak some things. It is a much harder game to win on the spy side, but it's still possible.
Seeing how it seems like we're the only ones being watched at, I highly doubt it's a winnable game anymore. As you mentioned, we're seeing if we're watching for 4th. Courtyard is one of those venues where everyone who goes to statue is almost always going to be credited with 3 missions, and the eternal question of this venue is what's the 4th mission? And usually it's Pearl at some point. But this time we decided to do the 4th mission first, as we have another fake.
I found out in my practice that it always is the question with the 4 out of 8 venues, what is the 4th mission? But on Courtyard really is a place where this theory was codified, because so many games have ended by a person getting the flirt early, getting the banana bread, getting the inspects even, and then just spending 2 whole minutes trying to fish for something before giving up on hope and going for a white purloin in the last 10 seconds of the game. That killed many a spy. Unfortunately here, Graash. Grash's attempt to flip the formula, to flip the script, will not necessarily change the outcome, I believe, because we are still being kept on screen, and I don't think we necessarily have a good shot at trying to get out of this mess.
Yeah, we're trying to redirect, but I think... Oh, the statue is even taken by Queen. So we're just doing a ring around the rosy. No? I thought we were gonna go ring around the rosy.
Wow, we're moving all the way around. That is straight up
I think we're going for a
NASCAR
last
stuff.
second bug here.
4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. There's the man. There is a shot. Pretty textbook by Martini, as he does pick up his 4th point. Final, if you trust wrestler on predicting.
I mean, I'm
And
closer
yeah,
than you. But yeah, that white purloin to not put much finer point to it. was a bold attempt. If that was a green, maybe we could get away with that game. But unfortunately, a white test almost on camera is just devastating. And there's basically nothing that the spy can do to recover from that. But the final game for both Martini and Graash in this SMC is going to be on Courtyard. Martini on the spy side playing as Kane in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Martini being a true Kane gamer to the bitter end. Now, that said, SpyParty is often a game about trying to manipulate the randomness and trying to make randomness produce results that you want. With the games that Graash was forced to play last time around, unfortunately,
we swipe!
he had to...
We swap on screen and we're getting shot, and my prediction apparently is correct. 12-4, the final scoreline for Graash.
Bro, I don't know. Paid actors. Paid actors, all I'm saying. Martini, unfortunately, not able to get away with a nice little cheeky attempt in the end here. I liked it. Don't get me wrong. If it works out, it is a pretty interesting try, and it's not like you're actually getting anything out of winning it, so might as well go for the flashy play. But sadly, it didn't quite work out in the end.
Yeah, this final scoreline, 12-4 overall. I mean, both players, I guess they're not playing, since this is a match only for Pride, shouldn't be expecting to put their absolute A game here, but Graash certainly on top today. But unfortunately for both of them, they're not qualifying for the next stage of the tournament, as we'll have Operice versus Rav being 1 and 2. But how that 1 and 2 will be, who's going to be number 1 and who's going to be number 2 will be casted tomorrow and announced very soon. And so stay around for that. Whilst on the bottom sides, everything is still up in the air and all the results and matchups will matter. But with all that said, it's time to us to close the cast. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for the players for still participating in this match, even though there's no stakes in this particular one. Thank you, Yash, for coming and casting again. It's been a pleasure.
Don't actually stay around on the stream for the entire day. Please go to sleep in the meantime.
That's a very healthy message indeed. And we shall see you next time. But until then, fare thee well.